Narcissists are constantly at you, but you need to be able to shut them down so that you're not feeling controlled. In this video, I'm going to give you 8 key phrases so that you can shut down those narcissists and stop them before they drive you absolutely insane. Hey there, I'm Rebecca Zung. I'm an attorney. I'm also a narcissist negotiation expert. And I want to help you break free from the chains of narcissists. I've helped many thousands of people break free from narcissists by helping them negotiate their way out of relationships with narcissists in both business relationships, divorce, and all sorts of situations. And I want to help you too. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell. I also have some key phrases to help you disarm narcissists for free. You can get those at disarmthenarc.com, and you can get them for totally free, disarmthenarc.com. And in this video, I'm also going to give you 8 key phrases to help you shut down those narcissists before they absolutely drive you crazy. All right, so let's get started. The first thing is that you want to understand that they want you want to kind of take yourself out of this situation. So the more you can kind of start looking at it almost like they're toddlers having a tantrum on the floor, the better it's going to be for you. Because what they're trying to do is drag you into that quicksand with them, drag you into that mud with them. And there's a number of reasons that they do that. One is that they get something called narcissistic supply by dragging you into that mud with them. And that feeds them, that feeds their ego, it feeds their inner empty self by doing that. It's kind of like I call it their food, their lifeblood, their oxygen. And that's what they need. You know, it's that inner emptiness that they feel. And by doing that, you know, you're kind of feeding that. And that's why you end up feeling so empty yourself. You know, they call them energy vampires for a reason. And that's part of the reason, because you end up feeling like you're being sucked dry. I remember when I was dealing with a business partner who was a narcissist, before I even knew anything about narcissism, I used to think, my God, it's like a leech. I just feel like I'm being leached. And I didn't know any other language to use, but I just felt drained, sucked dry, like the life was being drained out of me. And that's why you feel that. So you want to understand that you've got to figure out a way to create these boundaries to stop that draining from you, to stop that. So the way you've got to start is, you know, I call it step 1, don't run. Step 2, make a U-turn. And step 3, break free. You know, that step 1 is that first step. It's so important to start to look at things almost as a third party, look at things almost as an observer. And so that, you know, when you're using these phrases, you almost have to take the emotion out of it. All right. So that's the first real step when you're using these phrases. Okay. Look at it as if you're looking at a child having a tantrum. Looking at the narcissist from an observer point of view, and you stop having the emotional reaction. You can go afterwards and scream into your pillow, cry in the shower, talk to your therapist, whoever you need to, and have your emotional reaction afterward. But when you're with them, not have the emotional reaction there, because that feeds them. that is what they are looking for. That is what they want. The next reason that you don't want to have these emotional reactions is because they will use these emotional reactions against you. So not only are you feeding that need for supply, but you're also potentially going to hurt yourself, because what they're trying to do is bait you. What they're trying to do is trigger you, manipulate you, and get you to do something so that they can potentially use your emotional reaction against you. So, and especially if you're in the discard phase of a relationship with the narcissist, they want to be able to go, oh, look, there's the crazy one. There's the emotional one. There's the one that has the problem. And if you're in a court situation, it happens all the time. And I've seen it with my clients. I've seen it in situations where on the stand, in situations that were extremely inconvenient, cross-examination, trial, depositions, where you don't want it to happen, right? And they're very, very good at that, where they look like they're the calm ones, the collected ones, the charming, charismatic ones. And then everybody else in the system thinks that they're the normal ones, the non-narcissistic ones, the fine ones, the good ones. The other party is made to look like the emotional one, the one with the problem, because they bait you, they trigger you, they make you look like the crazy person. So you want to be very, very careful about not taking that bait and not allowing them to trigger you. Remember, everything you put your hand to is a potential trial exhibit. What you write, what you post on social media, how you respond to those text messages, to those emails, to those direct messages, what you say in conversations, what you say in front of people. Be very, very careful about those things. So that's why, go to disarmthenarc.com and grab my key phrases for disarming narcissists. You definitely want to do that. These are some cautions that I have for you. And then the third reason why you want to be very careful about how you are responding and talking to a narcissist is because every single time you get baited, every single time you get dragged into the mud, that narcissist, as long as you're giving them supply, they're never, ever, ever going to leave you alone. They're never going to be gone, because they're still getting that food. They're still getting that lifeblood. They're still getting that oxygen. So they're still going to come around. 3 good reasons to use these key phrases for shutting down narcissists. Okay. So number 1, you can say something like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you feel that way. Now, be careful you don't say, I'm sorry, or whatever, unless you are sorry, but you just say, I'm sorry you feel that way. I understand that that's what you think, whatever, but I'm sorry that you feel that way. You're not saying anything really. You're just saying, I'm sorry that that's how you feel. It just basically kind of puts it back on them. That's how you feel. I get it. I'm sorry that's how you feel. And it just lets them know that I heard what you said and I acknowledge that that's what you said. I'm sorry that that's what you feel. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2 is, I have no control over the way you feel. I have no control over what your thoughts are. Again, you're acknowledging what they said. You're acknowledging that you heard what they said about their thoughts. And you're just saying, I have no control over what you think. Not saying that you agree. You're basically saying you don't agree, but that you just don't have any control over what they think, nor do you wish to. Okay. and you have no control over the way you feel about me or this situation or what they think about anything. So that's number 2. Number 3 is your anger is not my responsibility. You can also say your triggers are not my responsibility, because a lot of times they are trying to say that they're angry at you, or they might say, you trigger me, you make me angry, all of those things. Their anger about things that you do, or if you trigger them, it's not your responsibility. They have to be responsible for that. Just like if you are triggered about something, it's your responsibility to manage your anger, to manage your triggers, right? Each of us have to manage our own triggers, our own traumas, our own anger. That's our own responsibility to deal with, right? I mean, we have a choice about how we respond to situations, and that's on us. And so that's on them. And so you can just put that back on them. Your anger is not my responsibility. That's number 3. Number 4. Number 4 is one of my favorites. I love this one. Number 4 is, I agree, that's your opinion. Because you know what? You're basically not agreeing with a thing. But they often hear you say, I agree. So you're saying, I agree, that's what you think. I agree that I heard you say that. You aren't agreeing with a thing, but I agree that's what you said. I agree that's your opinion. I mean, I understand that that's what you feel. You can say things like that, that basically you're just acknowledging them, but you're not agreeing with the thing. I hear you, I agree that that's what you feel, I understand. Things like that are all just acknowledging, but not really anything at all. Okay. Validating in some way. And that's really a lot of times all that people want. Number 5 is, I can see that you are. And you just insert the emotion. I can see that you are upset. I can see that you are angry. I can see that you are sad. Whatever it is, just articulate whatever the emotion is that you see them feeling. A lot of times, what's crazy is that you'll say, I can see that you're angry. And they'll say, I'm not angry. How is it that you're feeling? Because they'll be raging. And you'll say, I can see that you are angry about this. I'm not angry. Or they'll be screaming, yelling. I can see that this is upsetting to you. I'm not upset. Because when you call them out on their behavior, they'll be like, oh, I'm not that. They don't want you to characterize their behavior in such a way. It's just kind of funny, but actually observe their behavior to them. That's number 5. If you are so ready to slay all of this, slay your communication, slay your negotiations, that's what we do here. We slay. Strategy, leverage, anticipate, be 2 steps ahead of them, and focus on you, your case, your position, and slay everything with narcissists. I want you to put slay in the comments right now, because that is what you are going to do. You are going to slay this. You're going to slay this. You're going to shut them down. Put slay in the comments right now, because you can do this. You can shut them down. Put slay in the comments right now. All right. Number 6. Number 6 is another one that you can do. It's like, that's an interesting perspective. That's an interesting perspective. Again, you're just kind of acknowledging. I can't tell you how many times, hundreds of times a day, I get emails from people that, they're like, you know what? I just pulled out your phrases for shutting down narcissists. I picked one and I emailed it back and it totally worked. Or I have a few memorized and I just pulled one out, used it, totally worked. So totally suggest that you do this. That's an interesting perspective. So that's number 6. And number 7, here's where you're going to really start to create some boundaries. All right. If you want a narcissist respect, start feeling the power. They respect people who stand up to them, who have some confidence. All right. Start to say things like, if you want to engage in a conversation with me, you're going to have to remain calm and not emotional. Or say something like, be factual, not emotional. You're going to have to speak to me in a way that's respectful. There's certain things that are negotiable: contracts, issues, and terms. There's certain things that are not negotiable, and that's your self-respect. That's your self-worth. So don't allow them to speak to you in a way that's not respectful. Okay? All right. So if you want to engage in a conversation with me, you're going to have to remain calm. You're going to have to speak to me in a way that's respectful. Just say something like that. Totally okay. And it's totally okay for you to go, okay, well, you know what? If you can't, then this conversation is over. Period. And finally, the last one, if they say something that's just absolutely nuclear, not okay, you can just say, I'm choosing not to respond to that. And that's okay too. You know what? I'm choosing not to respond to that. Don't defend yourself. Okay. When you defend yourself, you are giving credence to the other side. You're giving credence to their position. You make yourself look weaker. Never explain, justify, or overshare. In fact, you need to get the support and help that you need. Okay. So make sure you join my free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators with Rebecca Zung. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that now. Subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you need additional support, we do have a sponsor here, BetterHelp, which is betterhelp.com/Rebecca Zung. We receive commissions. It doesn't cost you any extra. We want you to have the help and support that you need. And the next video that I want you to watch is Stop Defending Yourself, because I do want you to realize that you don't need to defend yourself. Okay. That's going to be so, so important for you. That's when you really can stand in your power. All right. So I'm going to see you in that next video. Remember that today's a great day to start negotiating your best life. I'm Rebecca Zung, and I'll see you in that next video. Stop defending yourself.